This is my Lolly, and I just want to show you a painting I'm gonna do of her. So I hope you enjoy. My dog, Lollipop, and I have it on my iPad. Now I'm working really on her face. So I've done a lot of code, and now I just want to focus on her face a little bit because her eyes and her skin, the mottled skin under there, I want a lot of that to show. So I'm probably not going to mess with a lot of this. Actually, it's already here. But I see her eyes definitely they need some work going on. So I left them a little hollow looking. But I also laid in the darks. You can see I laid in the darks. I'm probably going to cover up some of that, but not a lot. And I want to change the pink that I'm using. So I'm going a little lighter. We need a little bit lighter pink because she has that color in the corner of her eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and give this light color pink in here. You know, this won't hurt at all for me to tone that color down. I intend for most of that to be hidden back in there. As I paint different pets, you know, this color will cover up pretty good. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do that back in there. You okay, Lolly? Are you good? You okay, girl? She's in here with me when I'm painting. But this is not normal. So this is kind of a new thing for her to try. I wanted her to have a little time in here with me. Okay. And give a little pink under there. She's got a little under her ear. Under there. And even the pad of her foot. I want to go ahead and give some more pink in there. I put too much color, and I'm just toning it back down. We're trying this, and trying that, right? So I'm mixing some transparent mixing white with my pink that I have. So it won't change it drastically, but it is toning it down. Oh yeah. Some of these are really covered up, so I'm going to push them back a little with this. And then I'll be putting more white on top of this, probably too. This is where it gets a little tricky, because sometimes I want to keep going back and touching up, and I'm like, stop. Okay, I'm going to go back in here a little, put some pink that's a little bit more toned down. I like that highly magenta color that's in there, but I also realize it's a very strong color. And I want to leave it in some places, especially like outlining her body, her legs around her body. Then on the pillows where she's laying, I like to let it shine through there, but I don't want to do a lot. More pink. She is a girl dog, so that makes it nice. That's part of the reason why I used some of these colors. My titanium white. I'm getting really low on this. I'm gonna have to cut it open. Yes, I cut open. Sometimes I dig out the paint, or I cut open my plastic containers. I can't stand to waste it. See how much paint? I mean, this is just right inside. There's like a ton of it in there, but I don't need more than that. But there's a ton of paint just sitting there. And you can't always squeeze these bottles, so that's another little trick. We all like to get our money's worth, right? All right, so this color now is a very strong white. It will color. It's an opaque white when I say strong. The transparent mixing white is translucent. It lets light shine through it. So I want to bring this over to a different place in my fancy paint mixing tool. This is my fancy paint mixing tool, right? My egg carton. I love it because it does the job, and I can keep my paint fresh for a few days just by laying a paper towel on top of this, a wet paper towel, and then closing it up for a few days. But I usually try to use it up within a day or two because, you know, it won't keep it forever. And yeah, those fancy little paint boxes, they will keep it a lot longer, they say. But I just prefer this. I think I like the different eggs, the different little areas, because I don't want my colors mixing a whole lot. Okay, now this is really tricky here. I'm going ahead and doing the eye where I see that I need to put in the lighter color. Oh yeah, it goes up under there. And I may need to touch this up a little, but you know what? Sometimes a loose brush stroke, just done kind of quickly. I'm going to put some eye, needs a little bit on its eye right there. So this is not a pure white. This is a little bit of the white with the pink. So I wanted to use that. I'm incorporating the colors back into the painting in different ways. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Let me do it here too. Well, yeah. It may pop too much here, but let's see. There's a little highlight here, and I just want to show that it's a hand. It's a hand. It's not really a hand. A paw of this little stuffed animal. And then I do want to put some pink back into the ear because it got grayed up. And I want to show that that's an ear. I'll come back with another color and do the outline of the ear tip. This one is a round, it's a 2, I wanted to see. But this one's so fine, I can still use it. And I need to do this little sparkle in this eye. That one is not going to be seen, so I'm not going to worry about that one. But I do need to add in a couple of little things. You can steady your hand on the canvas. Oh, I could do her eyelashes. Ooh, yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, let me do her eyelashes. I'm going to get a little bit more white on there. So it still has a little pink in it, but I don't want to do a ton of pink. All right, I have a little dot in her eye. Okay, I will still come back later and do a little bit more definition on her eyes. All right, this little bit of white will make that pop. Oh, let me try here. Mix a little bit of the pink back in there. And let me go back here because see, I want this to stand out a little bit more. It got a little muddy back in there. And I'm going to clean this brush. Sometimes it's just a time to a little reflection while I paint because I stop and consider some things in my painting and my next steps. So as I clean my brush out, it's a time of reflection. And I'm going to get some more of the Naples yellow that's almost used up. The Naples yellow is definitely a good color for her because I used it a lot in the background in the cushion, and her white is not so pure white. You know, her coat has a little bit of color in it, so I tried to get that. I'm going to let the pink stay there in the brush, but I'm going to take this color down to my white, and probably got too much. That's okay. We will work with that, right? And I'll pull off some to the side because I won't be using the whole thing. In fact, I'm going to use a little bit of my transparent mixing in there as well, which doesn't change the color a whole lot, but it does make it more transparent. And the key to that is that sometimes I don't want her coat to actually be colored out. Oh yeah, this will work. This will work. This is a lighter color, and it's a good color to throw in there in some areas that I wanted to give some texture to her hair on her back. And you see, I'll let things show through to the degree that I want them to. It's a little too grayed, so now I'm going back in with this color that's going to bring some life back into her face. A little bit more yellows. I didn't want to quite go that dark. I've just had a great weekend lately with my family. It was such a nice weekend to spend together. It was beautiful. I took time off from my painting stuff, I was like, this is more important to spend time with your family. It was hard. It was a hard decision. Like, I knew I had goals for myself, and I wasn't going to reach those goals if I spent time with them. But, you have to decide what's most important at what times in your life. And that definitely was important. It was so refreshing to spend time with them, focus on them, give them really the love that they need and deserve, because we only have them for today. We don't really know when our last day is going to be. And I know that sounds a little morbid, maybe a little scary or cryptic, but we really don't. We could be killed in a car wreck, going to see them. My youngest daughter came by plane up here to see us and to see her new niece, she was born about 3 weeks ago. So now I'm going to move my painting down just a little. Maybe that can be seen. And there's a lot of room for color in here, so I'm going to give it a little bit more. I'm still going to let it be a little loose, a little bit looser than. As I'm working on a painting, I try to think, you need to give it the impression of the thing you want. You've got to do the impression. So even in the pet portraits that I've done, I used to be focused so much on getting the exact details exactly right. And I realized I was missing that energy, that liveliness, because the painting is a painting. It's not a portrait. It's not a... because the painting is a painting. It's not a photograph. And I'll probably, be sharing more about that in the future, because photographs are photographs, and they portray reality in such a way that it's still different from reality. A photograph isn't going to give exact colors. You don't get the exact things. They say that when you take a picture of the landscape, it's never really quite the same. It doesn't really look the same. And I do believe that, because there's something that changes. You can't capture the same thing. And that's the way I feel about my art, is that, to have a picture, you have a photograph of a dog or an animal or a person, and you're trying to capture their liveliness or their essence, and it's not easy. It's not like a simple thing to say, oh, there it is. I've done that. So it's almost like I keep working at it and kind of showing through the colors, through the brush strokes, things about what I see. So I'm interpreting what I see. That's what an artist does, They see things differently. You may have an interest in doing art, but you're like, I don't know how you do that. I don't know. And it's true. It takes time. I've been practicing my art. I've been painting for, many years, decades, right? But I don't really think of it as a it builds as you go, and it's not like something you can just tell somebody everything of how to do it, because some of it's intuitive, some of it I don't think about it, but then later I go, oh, now I know what I was doing. I know what that was now. You know, it took me a little time to figure it out, because some things you just learn as you do them. You learn how colors mix. You learn how the tools work. For example, I'm using a short-haired little Royal Taklon brush. It's a 6, and it's small. It's giving me a lot of control because I used a bigger. I used my biggest brushes already. They're dirty, but you know, you use a bigger brush when you're starting a painting, and then you go down to smaller brushes. And I really only use the very smallest brushes for details around the eyes and the nose, maybe my signature. I try not to use those little brushes. So here I have this brush. It's really a good one, versatile, but it's allowing me to get some colors in here that I wanted to throw in her body, on her body. Yeah, I want to show how the hair on her back kind of, it fades out over into the shadow part behind her. So I'm giving this brush a jump around. It's dancing around on the canvas, right? I kind of think of Bob Ross's Happy Little Trees. So I'm making the hair and the things that you might see stand out a little bit more. I'm making it imply something, okay? So yes, I just kind of keep looking back and forth at my drawing, at my photograph on my iPad. And I won't give this back side of her as much details, but I do want to give it some cohesiveness so that it's going over her shoulder and back on the back side. Oh, that area. I need to fix that area right there. There's a hard pink line, and I just need to get rid of that. Okay, yeah, good. And I'm going to, let's see, pull that brush down. It's mostly gone. The paint's gone off the brush, but I'm still using it to kind of drag it around. Here. No, I don't want that ear to have a lot of the yellow. I'm just going to do this side because I'm doing it almost like the light is hitting on this side of her body. Okay. I'll go back with my transparent mixing white here because I want this back to be very transparent. I'll do a heavy in there. Oops. All right. I think this is almost done. I'm like on her back here. Okay. So the lines that I had drawn back here, they were entirely too thick and too dark. Okay, and maybe her face a little bit more. Okay. Getting down here. Yeah, really being rough on these bristles. Yeah. Okay. Okay. pretty close, pretty close. And sometimes you have to decide when to step away. When to step away. I need this color again because I want to go around her eye a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go through here again too. This covers up a little bit more, see? Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit of a bluish color on this side of her head. Bluish grays, so I don't need to give that too much yellow. The yellow is the light hitting from this side mainly. All right, well, thanks for joining me and watching me paint my dog, Lolly. And I hope if you have an animal in your life that you would love to have it done in artwork, that you would reach out to me, because I love to create special artwork, and it creates such a memory for the pet owner, remembering all the good things, all the good times. Thanks again.